Hey guys, this is a follow-up to a couple of the videos I made about anxiety and panic, and yesterday was World Mental Health Day, and I've been busy and distracted, and so I didn't get to make a post yesterday. But I wanted to follow up with you guys on sort of what's been happening since I was reaching like a point of crisis a couple of weeks ago. With my own mental health. And so if you go back in a couple of the videos, you'll notice the most recent ones that I was having a really hard time dealing with anxiety. I wasn't sleeping at all. I was having panic attacks. I was unable to remain calm, and a lot of things would just set me off. And so I did a bunch of things, and one of them was I started talking to my psychologist again here in Pittsburgh. I started to lessen the amount of clients that I've been working with. I started to lessen the amount of clients online that I've been working with. And then I was regimenting my workday. I started going to yoga. I was committing to a meditation practice nightly. I had the use of insomnia meditations before bed. I stopped drinking liquids well before bed so I wouldn't be interrupted by having to go to the washroom. I started taking cortisol supplements, which included having ashwagandha and magnesium in them. I also started taking ashwagandha and bacopa tincture 2 or 3 times a day in my drinks. I quit drinking coffee. What else? I tried Xanax, like 1 pill, and that just knocked me out, or half a pill, knocked me out the first time, and then the second time it didn't work, so I got scared about that and stopped using it. And then most recently, I started making pot chocolates, and basically would grind down buds into butter and then use like 90% cacao vegan chocolate and make chocolate bars anyway before bed. And yeah, so that actually seemed to knock me out, but that's just a really expensive pursuit. Melatonin was something that wasn't working. And so with all of those things that I was trying to do, I took 3 days off of training, and after the 3rd day, like I supplemented with yoga 1 or 2 times a day instead, and I did a lot of restorative and yin yoga classes. And then I was using some essential oils as well in the morning to wake up instead of using caffeine, and then in the evening to relax instead of using melatonin or any kind of sort of knockout drops. But after 3 days off of the gym, when I went back that first day, I had such massive panic. It was weird. It wouldn't go away. And so I hadn't experienced sleep properly or a day without a panic attack together for 2 weeks. And so I hadn't slept for a few months before that, more than a few hours a night. And then that sort of broke me right down. Then I spoke with my psychologist and my coach and talked about what are some other things that I can do to cope, because I don't really want to take drugs. And I'm sick of feeling like I'm going to throw up all the time. I'm sick of feeling like any second somebody's going to jump out of a closet and murder me. What can I do? And everybody in my life, including my psychologist and my bodybuilding coach, agreed that I shouldn't be competing this year and I need to take a couple months off because I'm pushing myself to the point of absolute emotional exhaustion. And that was going to manifest in probably some sort of a serious breakdown. So that was it'll be 2 weeks ago Monday. My coach also recommended that I take training down to 3 days of heavy lifting with 3 days of 15 minutes of light cardio. to try and recover and then boost up my carbs by 30 grams or something like that. I've been staying pretty close to my pre-contest diet. I really don't have a problem with it. I have still been experiencing some nausea, though I went 3 full days without a panic attack. Right after basically I'd had the discussions with my support that I was going to put off contests. I think there was a lot of psychological abuse that I was creating for myself, because anytime I fell short in my training or my nutrition, it would trigger me to panic about the fact that, you know, every Sunday would be one less week out from a show. And, you know, on the other side of things, we're moving full time on the road in about 6 months. And it just didn't allow me to focus on what needed to happen in our house, in our business, to make sure that there's work for everybody and we downsize quickly. So the act of actually coming out and saying, I'm going to not compete this year, seemed to alleviate a lot of the stress. That doesn't allow me to manage, and so I was by myself when those conclusions arrived, and Jeff was in Calgary, and then he arrived home, I don't know, about 24 more hours after these decisions had been made, and that was last week on Tuesday. And so far we've had like an exceptional time. Or was it the Tuesday? I think maybe he's been home for 2 weeks now. We've had an exceptional time as a couple, because I'm less on edge, and I think also we had a couple weeks apart. But I slowly am starting to feel that anger creep back. I have regular appointments with my psychologist. I have one booked for Monday. So I really, my whole goal for myself was to be able to recognize what's triggering me, why it triggers me, to be able to manage that, and to be able to deal with my stress in a healthy way instead of freaking out and just closing off because I was scared of becoming a recluse. So that's kind of the update. If you're interested to know, I've been using BetterHelp. I've used them before in the past for just family counseling, but this time I'm using them for psychology. And you have access online anytime, by phone or by video chat or even by text. And I think it's just a relief to have somebody there that's like completely removed from your life that you can speak with frankly. And my psychologist is super helpful. It's not always putting the questions back on me like, so what do you think you should do? Well, I don't know what I think I should do. You know, I need permission from someone other than myself to take this step. But then on the other hand, I also need coping mechanisms, and I need somebody to manage me. You know, there's so many things that go on with mental health that you discover along your journey. So BetterHelp, I recommend. Also, I thought, because I got a tick last winter, so around March, so spring, I guess, of 2017, my dogs both got covered in ticks. I had no idea that Pennsylvania was like full of ticks. They ended up getting Lyme disease. And so Jeff and I were doing some research a few weeks ago and came to the conclusion that I could possibly have Lyme disease because all of these symptoms are also indicative of Lyme disease infection. And so we did some research and found this test kit, which I still have. It's gone off, but it's called Let's Get Checked. And this one's empty, but it had a little vial in here for your blood and then a bunch of instructions. And basically, you poke yourself in the finger, which I'm terrified of needles, and so I had to put on Pantera and just do it. And it's like a knife, and my finger's purple now. But then you squeeze all the blood into this vial. You activate the product online first, and then it gives you postage paid to go back to Europe, and they check for Lyme. And once they've checked it, your results come in online. So that's another thing that I'm doing for myself to sort of protect my mental health and figure out also like biologically if there's anything going on. Anyway, that's the update on the mental health stuff, on the competition stuff. I've been able to kind of get back to training a couple of clients regularly now in person and take on a couple of new clients because I feel less pressure and enjoy life a little bit more. I haven't got off the rails binge drinking or binge eating. Really, my healthy lifestyle choices aren't here just because I'm in a contest. And that's something else that I just wanted to mention, that there's a lot of reasons behind why people compete. And for some people, what I'm starting to really notice is that it's the only way for them to get into the shape they want to be in, because they need some sort of consequence or some sort of deadline in order to do that. And some people do need that. But what I've also figured out through my research in deciding whether or not I was going to bow out of my 2 contests this year, I noticed that a lot of competitors are burning out and dropping off the map and gaining excessive amounts of weight. They start to go through the drive-thru all the time. They don't train anymore. And they seem to fall off the wagon, and it's these like extreme health events. And I think that's so clearly indicative of the fact that the fitness industry is not holistic necessarily, and above and beyond like all of the schlock and the supplements that you are sold and the ideas that you're sold about fitness. I think the primary portion of fitness that's so important is mental health and how it helps you navigate life, deal with stress, sleep, recover, have fun, all of those things. And so I really didn't want to become part of that machine. That terrifies me. And what I realized over the last couple of weeks is that health and wellness has always been part of my life. Eating well and exercising and being active has always been part of my life since I was very young. And that will never go away. So the fact that I'm not competing doesn't mean that I'm just going to sit on the couch and, do nothing for myself physically or emotionally, because I don't want to be that way. And so I hope that if you're going through similar struggles, and if you've become a part of the health and fitness industry or competitive bodybuilding, that you recognize what your relationship to fitness is, what your relationship, people are getting killed and things are being lit on fire all day here in the studio. I hope you recognize what your relationship to health and fitness is, what you most want out of health and fitness, and why it's really important in your life to embrace it as a holistic way to live for a long time happily. It's not healthy, these binge or long-term binge fitness fixations, whether it generates eating disorders or body dysmorphia or control issues, whatever negativity can come out of the fitness industry. I just hope that you reach out for the help that you need to discover fitness and wellness and its place in your life in a healthy way. Anyway, if you ever have any questions about my journey or my stress or the tools I've tried to incorporate into my life to manage my health and wellness, please drop me a line at Sasha at foodmedicinelife.com. You can check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and my website, foodmedicinelife.com, obviously, to get in touch. So I hope that these videos help you. I hope that you come to understand that mental health is a luxury in some cases for some of us, and that we really do have to protect our minds from destruction and from unhealthy behaviors that we might incorporate into our lives without even knowing it. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I hope you continue to join me along my adventures here as we go full-time RVing and watch what fitness and nutrition becomes living out of an RV, traveling all around North America. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday, and we'll see you again soon. Ciao.